Check, check, 1, 2, hey. I asked 100 guitar players what matters most to them when buying a guitar. Is it the price? Is it the country of origin? Does it matter if it's an artist model? Is it the playability? Or is it just simply the way that the guitar looks? I asked 100 different guitar players and I got a lot of different answers, with some of my favorites being, will my wife kill me? And what would Joe Bonamassa do? Yeah, I think we all know what Joe Bonamassa would do. He would totally buy that guitar. Surprisingly enough, only 1% of rock and rollers that I asked cared if the guitar was an artist model. And I'm not really sure if it matters, but it is interesting to know. The one person who said that the guitar being an artist model is the biggest factor for them happened to be a 14-year-old slightly edgy alternative style girl. And the artist model that she was interested in was also a slightly edgy alternative style artist. Nevertheless though, there is still clearly a market for the artist models, albeit a very small market, at least from the people that I asked. You may also find it interesting that only 1% of consumers cared about the country of origin where the guitar was created. That being said, again, it still matters. 1% is not zero. It's just not really the main selling point for a lot of people when it comes to a guitar. Personally, I think if you have the opportunity, you should totally go with an American-made guitar. Though I only own American-made guitars, as you can see here, so I guess that I am biased. By the way, if you're interested in my thoughts on whether or not you should buy an American-made guitar, check out this card up top for my opinion on the matter. There's a video that I made a little while back that resonates with this video, maybe a little bit. Or you can check the description. The video will be there as well. While you're checking on that, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe to my channel if you do like guitars and guitar related content. So thank you so much for hanging out. That being said, if the guitar was made in China or Indonesia or Korea, that didn't really matter to most of the people that I asked as much as playability and looks mattered. Or price, of course. Price is a big one.
But what do you think mattered most?
It's important to note that in my experience, looks, price, and playability all somewhat are dependent on each other. But out of these three options, most people picked the playability. So that's how the guitar feels. Is the guitar comfortable? Does it feel alright when I'm in the first position versus when I'm shredding way up top? Am I gonna dream about this guitar at night? It seems that for most customers to want to buy a guitar, the guitar must feel good to them. A whopping 60% of people that were asked said that the playability matters most to them when buying a guitar. However, this does not mean that the guitar can play badly, but be super beautiful and not sell. Because I can sell anything, yo. 21% of people said that price was the biggest factor for them when shopping for a guitar. And 17% of people said that the looks are the most important thing when shopping for a guitar. Now there's one thing that I want to share in my decade of experience in selling guitars is the more expensive the guitar, typically the better playing the guitar will be. Typically. Oh, and also usually the most expensive guitars are also the prettiest guitars. I'm looking at you, PRS guitars and Gibson guitars and even Fender guitars. Oh, and they're also made in the USA. So 4 of the 5 factors in this whole video contribute just to that sale. Interesting to note.
Well, butter my buns.
I still think that there's a price that I consider no man's land. Meaning that the price is just ridiculously high, that 99% of consumers will not buy that guitar. It's just too expensive. Some of these Gibsons that can be $10,000 or some of these PRSs that can be $10,000. You're not gonna get a lot of buyers for those guitars. They're just too expensive. Unless you have a customer who has a ton of money where money is not an issue for them, most people are not going to buy those guitars. It's very hard for them to justify that purchase. Shouldn't be called no man's land. It should actually be retitled to rich man's land. Most USA custom shop and even some of the ESP Japanese guitars are just so expensive, but we still sell them. And these companies still sell them, otherwise they simply wouldn't make them, right? Doesn't make sense for them not to make them if they wouldn't sell them. My grandpa used to say, there's an ass for every seat. So I think of these guitars as super exclusive to the upper echelon of guitar players. Let's talk about the guitar shop that I work at. What is currently the best selling guitar? Probably Fender Telecasters, honestly. They are kind of like a workhorse guitar, bread and butter, if you will. But if we really want to look at it on a wider scale, I would say guitars between $1,000 and $2,000 are really the guitars that most customers are looking at. And I don't know if inflation equates for this, or just maybe that's what people are looking at, guitars in that price range. I mean, even Mexican-made guitars new by Fender start over $1,000, and a lot of the Epiphones are over $1,000. And it blows my mind now when I see people say, oh, well, that's cheap, because for me growing up, that shit was expensive. It's crazy, but that's the reality that we're living in. And even though we specialize in high-end guitars at Replay Guitar Exchange, these guitars from $1,000 to $2,000 typically will hit 4 out of those 5 factors that were mentioned in this video, that being price, looks, playability, country of origin. But yeah, it's crazy that a new Mexican-made guitar is $1,000. So for just a little bit more money, you can get a USA-made guitar. It's interesting to note that. And I wonder if because of that, maybe Mexican and imported guitars are slowed down as far as sales go, because people justify a couple $100 more to get typically a better playing guitar. I don't know, but I am interested in your thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments. But if you find a beautiful guitar that has a really nice price tag on it, well, then you should just snatch it up. You should buy it. You shouldn't even think twice about the subject. But of course, that's obvious. That's just a reminder for some of the guitar players out there who are maybe a little bit more indecisive, you know? If you see something you really like, go with your gut. Buy it, get it. Don't wait, because you'll come back and that guitar will be gone with the wind. And you might be wondering why I even decided to do this survey and ask 100 different people about their preferences when buying a guitar. And the answer is, as a guitar salesman, I wanted to get some info on what guitars we should stock. What do people want? What are they looking for? It gives us an educated answer to what we should purchase for the consumer in the future. I wanted to figure out which guitars would sell faster than other guitars, and there are guitars that sell faster than other guitars. We don't sell nearly as many exotic shaped flying V's or Explorers as we do the Les Paul. It's just the way it is. By asking people what they want, we get a general idea. So there you have it. But again, I'm interested to know what matters most to you. Please let me know in the comments what matters to you the most when buying a Git Fiddle. Did I miss anything important? Be sure to grill me on it. Again, be sure to like and sub to my channel if you did enjoy this video. And check out these other videos if you like guitar-related content. From pedals to my thoughts on tube amplifiers and the state of those in general as well. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Cliffhanger, and I'll see you guys the next time that I see you. Peace.